Today we're going to be talking about winter animals. And you guys get to help me with the story. So there's a bunch of different animals in this story. And you guys get to help me tell the story. You got everyone? All right. Some of you might know the story, but it's a fun story, so we will. It is the Mitten.
Daddy has one of these.
Yeah, that exact one. There's a mouse.
Once there was a boy named Nicky who wanted his new mittens made from wool, white as snow. At first, his grandmother, Baba, didn't want to knit white mittens. If you drop one in the snow, you'll never find it. But Nick wanted snow white mittens, and finally Baba made them. After she finished, she said, "When you come home, first I will look to see if you are safe and sound, and then I will look to see if you still have your snow white mittens." So off Nicky went, and it wasn't long until one of his new mittens dropped in the snow and was left behind. All right, our mitten's a little gray, but it got left behind. A mole, tired from tunneling along, discovered the mitten and burrowed inside. It was cozy and warm and just the right size, so he decided to stay. Who's got a mole? Put the mole in the mitten. Stick him in there.
Gotta go hide in the mitten.
Hide him in the mitten. There he is. All right. We've got the mole in the mitten. He's cozy and warm, so he's going to stay.
Mommy, I got the bun.
A snowshoe rabbit came hopping by. He stopped for a moment to admire his winter coat. It was then that he saw the mitten, and he wriggled in, feet first. The mole didn't think there was room for both of them, but when he saw the rabbit's big kickers, he moved over. Can you drop them there? All right, yep, there's room for both of them. Next, a hedgehog came snuffling along. Having spent the day looking under wet leaves for things to eat, he decided to move into the mitten and warm himself. The mole and the rabbit were bumped and jostled, but not being ones to argue with someone covered in prickles, they made room. All right, can you stick the hedgehog in? Ooh, he bounced out. Let's get him in there. There he is. All right. They made room for him. Uh-oh. As soon as the hedgehog disappeared into the mitten, a big owl, attracted by the commotion, swooped down. When he decided to move in also, the mole, the rabbit, and the hedgehog grumbled, but they saw the owl's glinty talons. They quickly let him in. Who's got the owl? All right. Up through the snow appeared a badger. He eyed the mitten and began to climb in. The mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, and the owl were not pleased. There was no room left, but when they saw his diggers, they gave him the thumb. Can you put the badger in? There it goes. Yep, still more room. It started snowing, but the animals were snug in the mitten. A waft of warm steam rose in the air, and a fox trotting by stopped to investigate. Just the sight of the cozy mitten made him feel drowsy. The fox poked his muzzle in. When the mole, the rabbit, the hedgehog, the owl, and the badger saw his shiny teeth, they gave Fox lots of room. Can you stick him in? There we go. All right. Getting close. Uh-oh. A great bear lumbered by. He spied the mitten all plumped up. Not being one to be left out in the cold, he began to nose his way in. The animals were packed in as tightly as could be, But what animal's going to argue with a bear? The mitten swelled and stretched. It was pulled and bulged to many times its size, but Baba's good knitting held fast. Can we get a bear in there? Ooh. Push him, push him, push him. There we go. We made it. All right. Is it full, you think? We got room for one more? Along came a meadow mouse, no bigger than an acorn. She wriggled into the one space left and made herself comfortable on the great bear's nose. Can you get her in there? Can you get the mouse in there? And the last spot left. Well, the bear, tickled by the rabbit's whiskers, gave it an enormous sneeze. Chew! The force of the sneeze shot the mitten up into the sky and scattered the animals all over the place. On his way home, here we go. On his way home, Nicky saw a white shape in the distance. It was the lost mitten silhouetted against the blue sky. As he ran to catch a snow-white mitten, he saw Baba's face in the window. First, she looked to see he was safe and sound, and then she saw that he still had his new mittens. Do you think Baba's going to believe him if he told her the one mitten's bigger because there was a bear in it? What do you think? No? I don't think so either. Well, this time of year, not a lot of animals are out because it's cold and snowy. But there are still some animals around that you can see. And when it's snowy like this, it's a great time to find out who's around because the snow will tell you even if you don't see them. So you've got birds like starlings that look for bird feeders and other places where there's food, and they fly around in great big flocks. And so you'll see a bunch of them. Foxes are still around. They're out looking for food. You might not see them, but you'll see tracks. If you see tracks that look like dogs but really small, that's probably them. White-tailed deer are still around. They're out looking for food. And if they need to, they'll be chomping on plants. So you might see them in your yard. Coyotes are out looking for dinner. Staying warm in their fur. Raccoons still come out in the wintertime looking for food. We got squirrels. They'll come out when we have a really nasty day like we've had. They'll stay in their homes in the tree for a while. But then once it starts to calm down, they'll come out looking for acorns that they hid. Do you know how they find their acorns?
Mm-hmm.
How do they find their acorns?
They go up and down and dig a lot.
Yep, they go looking for them. So sometimes they remember where they hid them, but a lot of times they can smell them through the snow, and that's how they find them. And if they don't find them, then someone gets a new tree. So that's good too. And rabbits are out. This is one reason that the coyotes and the foxes are out. They're out looking for rabbits to eat. So you'll see rabbit tracks around. And then our ever-present friend, the Canada goose, are also out. Anywhere that you find water that is not frozen, you'll find these guys hanging out. So those are animals that are still out today in the wintertime, and you might see their tracks. All right, do you guys want to make your own mittens? I have mittens for you guys to lace up, and I even have little friends for you to put in the mittens. All right, and then I have some decorations for your mittens too, okay? Let's go find a spot, and then we can make some mittens.